Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to explain about morphology of flowering plants. So I'll be covering this topic in parts. So first part I'll be talking about root. Then next I'll be covering in next class about stem, leaf, and then inflorescence, androecium, gynoecium, and finally the floral formula. So today's class will be in English, but I'm also going to do the same topic in Hindi as well as Telugu. So in case interested, please continue watching and do share it with people you know. So first, today we are going to start with root. Okay, before that, what is morphology? So morphology is nothing but shape. So we are going to learn about different diversity. There's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of modifications. There's so many different kinds of plants, and they are so different from each other, and their functions are also different. So we are going to talk about morphology of root today. Okay, it is nothing but the study of external structure. All right. Now coming to root. In majority of dicotyledonous plants means the seed that has two embryos. The direct elongation of the radical leads to the formation of primary root, which grows inside the soil. So this is a dicot plant. Okay, dicot seed. This is how it looks. The upper portion elongates and gives something called as plumule, and the lower portion elongates and gives radical. So plumule grows like this inside soil, and then radical grows like this. So plumule gives stem and radical gives root. So the direct elongation of this radical leads to the formation of primary root. So the first elongation is nothing but this is called as primary root. And then the next elongation is secondary root, and then comes the tertiary root. Okay, so this is secondary, this is tertiary, secondary, tertiary. All right, so radical will give the primary root, and it gives off branches as secondary and tertiary roots. All right. The primary root and the branches constitute the tap roots. Now, the first root that is coming down along with the side roots is nothing but tap roots. Okay, it is called as taproot system as seen in mustard plants. So taproot system can be seen in mustard plants. In monocotyledon plants, the primary root is short-lived. So what happens in monocots is this is primary root. Okay, this is secondary, this is tertiary. All right, so this primary root in case of monocots is short-lived. It dies off, and that gets replaced with lot of secondary roots and tertiary roots. Okay, that type of root system is called as fibrous root system. Now, just as a quick recap, what is taproot system? Taproot system is nothing but from the radical, the single root that's coming down and which again branches off into secondary and tertiary roots is called as taproot system. And fibrous root system is where the primary root is short-lived and it dies and it is replaced by a thick group of roots is called as fibrous root system. Let me tell you something, like it can be seen in wheat, whereas the monocots, it can be seen in mustard. So the information you're seeing on the screen is your NCERT textbook. The reason I have kept it this way is so that once I explain, you have a habit of reading NCERT, because most of the questions always come from NCERT textbook, nothing beyond that. Okay, so what about wheat plant now? We know that the type of root system is fibrous root system. Now, there are a lot of grazing animals that try to eat the grass, right? What happens is, because these roots are so thick, the animals are only able to eat a particular portion of the root. They cannot eat the whole thing, and then it again grows back. That is the importance of having thick root system. Whereas there is another kind of root system where you can see here in the banyan tree, you can see like a lot of roots in the soil, but you can see that roots are arising from other parts of its structure, not just the root. You can see it from other parts of the plant, and that kind is seen in banyan tree. An example of such roots is called as adventitious roots. Okay, now let us read it. In monocotyledonous plants, the primary root is short-lived and it is replaced by number of roots. So we studied that primary root is short-lived, it is replaced by number of roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and they constitute the fibrous root system. So taproot, we know primary root, secondary root, tertiary root. Example is mustard. What happens in fibrous root system? The primary root is short-lived, so it dies off, and then there is group of thick roots that can be seen. It is called as fibrous root system. It also gives protection from grazing animals. Okay, now what is adventitious roots? In some plants like grass, monstera, and banyan tree, roots arise from other parts of the plant other than the radicle, and they are called as adventitious roots. So the examples given are grasses and monstera and banyan tree. Now coming to what are the functions of the roots. The main functions of the root system is absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So you know that here there will be water and minerals. So the root will take water and it will give to other parts of the plant. And that's happening through a plant tissue that is xylem. So there is transport of water and also different minerals. It also provides anchorage to the plant. See, if the root is not there, it will fall off. The plant will fall off. So it's like a tough support for the whole plant. It also stores food reserve material. Example is carrot, sweet potato. Roots store food and we eat that food. It stores nutritious products. So it is acting as a reserved food material. And also it has a lot of plant growth regulators. So it has growth regulators also. Okay, so just a quick summary. Now, what did we study? Types of root system. What are the different types of root system? Taproot system, fibrous root system, and adventitious root system. In taproot system, what do we see? We see the primary root is there, and then it gives secondary root, and then it gives tertiary root, right? Example is mustard. Fibrous root, the primary root is short-lived, and then the secondary root and tertiary root form thick roots that is called as fibrous roots. It can be seen in wheat. Adventitious roots, there are primary roots definitely, but not just that. Roots arise from other parts of the plant structure. That can be stem, branches, other parts. That is called as adventitious roots and can be seen in banyan tree, monstera, and grass. Okay, so here are the examples. See, you can see how thick fibrous roots are. Here you can see the primary root and the lateral root, and here you can see adventitious roots. Now coming to the region of the roots. Now first, do not look at the whole matter. Let me first explain it to you and then we can read it, okay? Always root is surrounded by a cap. That is called as root cap. Root is surrounded by a protective structure called root cap. Then there are some kind of cells present that is called as meristematic cells. Okay. These meristematic cells, they undergo elongation. So they elongate, increase in size. Okay, and then these cells later mature. Okay, once they have matured, what do? Is they cause these epidermal cells to give root hair. Okay, so what did I tell you? There is a root cap, Then there is meristematic cells which elongate. So here the meristematic cells are elongating. Then we have them becoming matured. Then you have root hairs coming out from the epidermal cells. So this region of meristematic cells is called as region of meristematic cells. And this region where the meristematic cells are elongating, it is called as region of elongation. And then we have region of maturation. And then we have epidermal cells and root hair. All right, now let's go ahead. The root is covered by the apex by thimble-like structure called root cap. This important structure is root cap. It protects the tender apex of the root, the down portion that is very tender, that is given protection with the help of root cap. A few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. Above it, you can see these meristematic cells. There is some activity going on. Later, they elongate and then they mature and they give out root hair. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled with dense protoplasm. The cells over here, the cells are very small and they are thin-walled and they have dense protoplasm. They keep on dividing rapidly, and the cells proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in the length. So these meristematic cells grow and elongate, and it gives region of elongation. Then later they mature, okay, and that is called region of maturation. Now here you can see from this region of epidermal cells form very fine and thin, delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. These root hairs are the one that absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Okay, so important things to remember here is root cap, region of meristematic activity where meristematic cells, they divide and then they elongate, they mature, and epidermal cells give out root hair, which is important for absorption of water and minerals. Now coming to what are the different modifications of root. Like I told you, some roots can help in support, some root can help in storage of food. There are different kinds of function. But now let's see what are the functions that are mentioned in your NCERT textbook. Roots in some plants change their shape and structure and become modified to perform a particular function. Other than, we know that they help in absorption of water and minerals. They are modified for support, storage, and respiration. So they help in support, they help in storage, they also help in respiration. Now, taproots of carrot, turnip, and adventitious roots of sweet potato. So we studied about taproots, fibrous roots, and adventitious roots. Right. Sweet potato adventitious roots store food, starchy material food. Carrot and turnip belong to taproot system which store food. And for support, I told you banyan tree will fall off if it does not have these roots coming from other part of the plant other than just the ground portion. Those are nothing but called as prop roots. So this is an important question that has been asked in NEET. It is nothing but the roots arising from other part of the plant other than just the primary root. Okay. Similarly, stems of maize and sugarcane have supporting roots coming off from the lower nodes of the stem. Now, so this is the seed, plumule portion, root radical developing into roots. Now this plumule portion develops into stem. Stem is the above part that is visible to us, and the part from which the branches arise is called as node. The parts from which branches arise is called as node. Okay, so from the stems, what are they saying? At the lower nodes of the stems of maize plant and sugarcane, you can see supporting roots like this. Okay. And these roots are called as stilt roots. So here, let me explain you a very important way of what can the examiner ask you questions. So here they have explained about prop roots. Here they have also explained about how food is being stored. Here they are again explaining about the supporting roots. So the examples and the function is what you need to remember. Each and every example is important. Okay, so maize and sugarcane from the lower nodes of the stem. So lower nodes means, I told you, the points from which the branches and the leaves arise. That point, there are more roots that are going to help in supporting the plant structure. And those roots are called as stilt roots. Stilt roots can be seen in maize and sugarcane, whereas prop roots can be seen in banyan tree. Now, in some plants, such as Rhizopora, which can be seen in swampy areas like wet water areas, what happens is, so these Rhizopora, these roots are going down, and you see like in this area there is no oxygen. All right, but in order for this plant to survive, it needs oxygen. So it will come out of the ground. This root structure comes out so that it can take in the oxygen. All right. So to respire, these roots are undergoing a modification that instead of staying inside the ground, it's coming above the ground. And that modification is known as pneumatophores. The modification is known as pneumatophores, and they help to get the oxygen. So let's read here. In some plants, such as Rhizopora, growing in swampy areas, many roots come out of the ground and they grow vertically upward. See, this is the ground direction. This is vertically upward direction. And they help to get oxygen for respiration. Now here you can see modification of root: asparagus, turnip, carrot, sweet potato. Turnip and carrot are the example of taproot system, and sweet potato is the example of adventitious roots. And here you can see pneumatophores coming above the, like in this Rhizopora, you can see these structures are above the ground, right? These are not plants, but these are nothing but the roots that are getting oxygen, and they are called as pneumatophores. So these are the different modification. And for support, what are the modifications that we have seen? Banyan tree has roots from other parts of the plants, and they are called as prop roots. And in the stem from the nodes, if roots develop, that can be seen in maize and sugarcane, these roots are called as stilt roots. Okay, and this prop roots can be seen in banyan tree. I know that there's a lot of information in one single video. You can keep pausing it and then again slowly read it. I'm trying to cover the whole portion in parts, so that's why I'm going a little bit fast. But if you want a more slow video, you can always leave it in the comment below and I'll get back to you. So in tomorrow's class, we will solve questions related to each and every topic. So that's how I want to go from now. Whenever I take a NEET class, the first day I'll try to explain in all 3 languages, and then next day will be discussion of questions. All right. So I'll give you a very quick recap. So we have studied that a seed, a dicotyledonous seed, has 2 portions, one plumule and radicle. Radicle is giving root, plumule is giving stem. Then we have studied about different types of roots. We have studied that taproot, fibrous root, adventitious root. Taproot is the lower portion of the radicle, develops into primary root, secondary root, tertiary root. In fibrous root, we have seen that the primary root is short-lived. It dies and develops into thick roots, which will help them, give them protection from grazing animals also. And taproot can be seen in mustard, and fibrous roots can be seen in wheat plants. Adventitious roots are the roots that develop from other part of the plant structure, that can be seen in banyan tree, monstera, and grass. Now coming to the root, structure of root, there is the tender root protected by the root cap. Then you see meristematic cells, which are important for the root development. They divide very rapidly, and that is called as region of meristematic cell. They elongate, and that region is called region of elongation. And then they mature, that is called as region of maturation. And then you can see epidermal cells from which root hairs are given. And these are the root hairs are most important structure because they help in absorption of water and minerals. Now coming to modification of roots. So in modification of roots, we can see roots help in storage of food. And the tap roots that store food are turnip and carrot. And adventitious roots storing food is sweet potato. And asparagus also stores food. And next one is support. Support you can see in case of two. One is banyan tree, that is the roots coming from other parts of the plant, that is called as prop roots. And next you can see in stem of the, you can see from the nodes, you can see roots coming in case of maize and sugarcane. And those roots are called as stilt roots. Okay. And in the marshy areas, you can see that the roots come out vertically upwards for respiration, and that is called as pneumatophores, which can be seen in rhizopora. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you have understood today's class, and if you did, please leave a comment and do share it. And in case anyone is interested in having the notes, you can always leave a comment and I'll make sure that I'll send it to you. So thanks for watching, and please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.